right, so we're moving along, and we do have another sort of big idea. This one doesn't fit well with the others. I suppose it kind of fits with number sense, but understanding integers can help to describe and compare numbers in the real world. Integers you have had experience with, you just didn't realize that's what they were called. Integers are often used in temperature, especially in Alberta. Okay, we have a lot of integers in our weather in Alberta. So our concept today is to demonstrate an understanding of integers. Taking a look at our Connect section today, temperature is measured in degrees Celsius. When water freezes, it's at 0 degrees Celsius, thinking about your weather unit in grade 5. A typical summer day in La Ronge, Saskatchewan, the temperature might be 24 degrees Celsius above 0. A temperature that is greater than 0 is what we call positive. And you've worked almost entirely with positive numbers. Any numbers that we've worked with are positive. And you would write it as plus 24 or as just 24 degrees. Any number that does not have a negative or minus sign in front of it is positive. So all of our numbers up to this point have been positive when we worked on them in math. We can say this as 24 degrees Celsius or plus 24. Usually we don't add the plus unless it's fall and it's kind of possible it could be minus 24. Typical winter day in La Ronge, the temperature might be 18 degrees Celsius below 0. A temperature less than 0 is negative. We would write minus 18 degrees Celsius. And you cannot just write 18 degrees Celsius. Anytime a number is negative, it must have that minus sign. We would say this is minus 18 degrees Celsius, or 18 degrees below 0, or something like that. All right, looking at our Connect section now. Numbers such as positive 24 and negative 18 are integers. A plus sign in front of a number tells us that it's positive. Also, no sign in front of a number tells us that it's positive. So if there's no sign, it is also positive. A negative sign in front of a number, a minus sign in front of a number, tells us that it's negative. So we're just going to assign a color. Yellow is nice and sunny, so it's going to be positive. Red is kind of a negative number. Or a negative color. We end up marking with it when we think of people being angry. Angry is negative. It's red. So we're going to make negative 1 be 1 red tile, and positive 1 is going to be 1 yellow tile. So if we wanted positive 6, we would need 6 yellow tiles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If we wanted to show negative 5, we would use 5 red tiles. We can also show integers on a number line, and you've actually seen a number line often as a thermometer. A thermometer is a number line. We have numbers on the negative on this side of the 0, and we are going from 0, then it's negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, and continues all the way down to negative 10. So we've seen that. And then positives are on the other side of it, plus 1, plus 2, plus 3, plus 4, plus 5, and so on. So you're familiar with a thermometer, which is a vertical number line. You could also take that and make it a horizontal number line where it's running from side to side. Either one works. And it can be very helpful when you're looking at integers to look at a thermometer or look at a number line. Okay, so the arrow on the number line represents negative 3. Okay, we've got it here at negative 3. That's what we would say. We would say negative 3. We can also have opposite integers. Now, opposite integers are the same distance from the 0, but on opposite sides. So negative 2, positive 2 are opposite integers. Positive 4, negative 4 are opposite integers. Negative 21, positive 21 are opposite integers. We use integers to represent quantities that have both or either size and direction. Okay, so that's going to be important to remember. Integers are used to represent quantities, amounts, that have both size and direction. So think about where we might use integers. Well, obviously temperature, we've talked about that. We also can talk about depth, below ground level as a negative number, above ground level as a positive number. We can talk about integers when we talk about money. If you owe someone money, it's negative. Because your money that you're getting isn't actually yours, it's theirs because you have to give it to them because you owe it to them. So it's a negative number. If someone's paying you some money, that's a positive number. So money is often using integers as well. So let's take a look at a couple of examples here. Mark saved $25. He saved it. He's got it. So that's plus $25 or just 25. We don't need that sign. A scuba diver swam to a depth of 50 meters. That's 50 meters below water level. So that would be represented as negative 50 meters. Always think of it whether or not it's below something or above something. If it's above, it's probably positive. If it's below something, it's negative. All right, we're going to continue and put the next lesson along with this one because it's still integers, but this time it's comparing integers. So knowing if a number is larger or smaller. And really that's actually not that difficult, especially if you think of temperature. Is it warmer or is it colder? If it's warmer, it's positive. If it's colder, it's negative, and so on. So using, of course, our less than, greater than signs, remembering it's always eating the bigger one, to show which number is bigger. So if we have positive 5 and we have positive 3, positive 5, would you rather think of it as money too? Would you rather have someone give you $3 or $5 because it's plus, so it's giving? So plus 5 is the larger number. If we have negative 3 and negative 1, would you rather owe someone $1? Would you rather owe someone $3? Well, we'd rather owe someone $1. So that is the bigger number. When we're talking about negative numbers, the smaller the digit is actually the larger the digit. Really, the closer you can be to 0, the bigger your negative number. This is a really small negative number, or a small number, because it's meaning you owe somebody lots, whereas this is a large positive number. Really, it could be said that it is the most number that is the most to the positive side. So the most to the positive side is going to be your largest number. If we were to order these numbers, 0, positive 1, negative 2, positive 3, and negative 5, we could use a number line to assist us. We would have 0 in the middle, and we would count up by ones on one side, and we would count down by ones on the other side. One side would be negative, one side would be positive, and then we can determine which is going to be our smallest number. Which is the most towards the negative side is our smallest number. Negative 5 is our most to the negative side. Next most to the negative side, negative 2. So that would be our next smallest number. So negative 5, negative 2. Next closest to the right, I guess, or in the middle, would be 0. Next closest would be positive 1. And then positive 3. That's how we would order our numbers from biggest to smallest. All right, so we can use a number line to assist us. If we were to look at this number, if we were comparing negative 4 and positive 3, well, the one that is closest to the positive, most on the positive side, is the bigger number, and the 4 would be the negative number. All right, to practice, these are the cards you are given. Press pause and try to order these from smallest to largest. Then think, are there any generalizations that can be made about ordering positive and negative numbers? Any statements that we can make that's going to work for any positive or negative number is a generalization. Press pause and try that. All right, so I could make myself up a number line. I would have 0 in the middle, and I'm going to have even numbers on this side. My biggest number is a 5, so I'm going to go to 5. And I'm going to have a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5. And this is going to be, oops, that's a 4. This is my positive side. And over here I'm going to do the same thing, other direction, but I'm going to have negative numbers. So -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. And now if I want to figure out which is my smallest number, I need to plot those points. So I've got a -5. I've got a +3. I've got a -2. I've got a 0. And I've got a 2. So remember, the numbers that are most to the negative side are the smallest. The numbers that are most to the positive side are the largest. And I guess that could be our generalization that we could make. So if I wanted to order these, then I would say -5 is our smallest. -2 is second smallest. 0 is in the middle. +2 is next largest, and +3 is our largest because it is the most highest. It's the highest, most right-hand kind of number on the number line, more towards the positive side. All right, at this point you get to move on to concept practice, and because this was 2 lessons together, you have 2 pages to work on. Page 76 and 77, numbers 1, 3, 4, 6, and 8, and that's just positive and negative numbers. Page 80 and 81, numbers 3, 4, and 7, is comparing those positive numbers. So we're working on an understanding of numbers, of integers, knowing what they are, and then being able to compare them. Go ahead and do that. If you're missing your exit slip after you're finished, it is following as well. If for some reason you have misplaced your exit slip, you can press pause and use this electronic version here. This is the first side, and there is a second side, so make sure you continue to watch and press pause. And here's our second side of our exit slip. If you have misplaced your sheet, press pause and try those now. Make sure, of course, that you are always, always, always showing your work.